this was fascinating. This was a link off Drudge, actually. It led me to this. ABC News. Mary Alice Parks, writing for ABC News on their website at abcnews.go.com/politics/10 times Bernie Sanders sounded Pope Francis /story, etc. And that's the headline. 10 times Bernie Sanders and Pope Francis sounded alike. And here are the quotes. Here's Pope Francis on political engagement. Pope Francis, I ask you to be builders of the world, to work for a better world. Dear young people, please, please don't be observers of life, but get involved. That was the Pope. Here's Bernie Sanders. We have to be engaged. We have to get involved. And millions of our friends and neighbors who don't vote, who have given up on the political process, they have got to get involved. Pope Francis, we must say we want a just system, a system that enables everyone to get on. We must say we don't want this globalized economic system which does us so much harm. Bernie Sanders, the American people are saying enough is enough. We need to create an economy that works for all of us and not just a handful of billionaires. Okay, that was on politics. On wages, Pope Francis said, a just wage enables people to have adequate access to all the other goods which are destined for our common use. Bernie Sanders, the federal minimum wage, it's a starvation wage. You do the arithmetic. People can't live on it. We've got to raise the minimum wage over a period of years to a living wage. On family, Pope Francis, over and over and over again, we see that the family bonds are essential for the stability of relationships in society, for the work of education, and for integral human development. Bernie Sanders, what is most important is the need for mothers and fathers to bond with the baby they've brought to life. What kind of family value is it when you tell a woman who's just had a baby that she can't spend time with that child, that she has to go back to work? On unemployment, the Pope Francis, the most serious of the evils that afflict the world these days are youth unemployment and the loneliness of the old. Bernie Sanders, in my view, there is no justice in our country when youth unemployment exists at tragically high levels. On war, Pope Francis, we want in our society, torn apart by divisions and conflict, that peace break out. War, never again. Never again war. Peace is a precious gift which must be promoted and protected. Bernie Sanders, it is my firm belief that the test of a great nation with the most powerful military on earth is not how many wars it can engage in, but how it can use our strength and our capabilities to resolve international conflicts in a peaceful way. On climate change, this is Republicans have just got to be terrified. This guy, the Pope, Bernie Sanders in a it's not a dress. What would you call it? A smock? What was it? The Jesus wore. Carry one and give the other to your, Anyway, Pope Francis is kind of, Bernie Sanders in costume, right? It seems. On climate change, Pope Francis, the vocation of being a protector, however, is not just something involving us Christians alone. It also has a prior dimension, which is simply human, involving everyone. It means protecting all creation, the beauty of the created world. It means respecting each of God's creatures and respecting the environment in which we live. Senator Sanders said, when we talk about our responsibilities as human beings and as parents, there's nothing more important than leaving our planet healthy and habitable for our kids and grandkids. On health care, Pope Francis said, it's vital that government leaders and financial leaders take heed and broaden their horizons, working to ensure that all citizens have dignified work, education, and health care. Bernie Sanders said, health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. Most Americans do believe that all of us should have the health care coverage and that nobody should be left out of the system. On inequality, Pope Francis said, it is a well-known fact that current levels of production are sufficient, yet millions of people are still suffering and dying of starvation. Bernie Sanders, despite exploding technology and increased worker productivity, median family income is almost $5,000 less than it was in 1999. Pope Francis, while the earnings of a minority are growing exponentially, so too is the gap separating the majority from the prosperity enjoyed by those happy few. Bernie Sanders, there is something profoundly wrong when we are seeing a proliferation of billionaires at the same time as millions of Americans are working longer hours for lower wages, and we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country in the world.